government shutdown continues, there are questions about what's open and what's closed. KTIV's Katie Koppel looks into how this shutdown is reaching beyond Washington and impacting one of our own.
As the government shutdown continues in Washington, D.C., the impacts of it are being felt far beyond our nation's capital.
We drove by one of the visitor centers and we heard about the government shutdowns. So we're like, let's go check it out. We were going to get a pass or whatever. And the visitor center was closed, nobody in sight.
Acacia Killian is KTIV's chief videographer. She and her husband, Cade, began their honeymoon this week, touring national parks. They arrived in Acadia National Park in Maine on Wednesday and found amenities already closed and park rangers nowhere in sight.
We like to go and talk to rangers and ask them what trails they recommend and what trails are good to go on this time of year or not, and we're not able to do that.
Now, before we get into what is impacted in a government shutdown, let's talk about what exactly it means. A government shutdown occurs when Congress is unable to pass the funding bills, also known as appropriations, that keep the federal agencies running into the next fiscal year, which begins on October 1st. Now, in a shutdown, the federal government must stop all non-essential functions until funding is approved by Congress and then signed into law by the president. Now, during a shutdown, federal workers are furloughed or put on a mandatory temporary unpaid leave of absence. Federal workers deemed essential, like active duty military, border patrol agents, and postal workers, for example, are still able to work. But others, like national park employees and park rangers, are furloughed, meaning national park services like visitor centers, trail upkeep and maintenance, and park cleanup generally stops during a government shutdown. Now, while those workers are furloughed, the Department of Interior, which oversees the National Park Service, says park roads, trails, and open-air memorials will generally remain accessible to the public for now. But according to the National Parks Conservation Association, the longer that a government shutdown lasts, the more amenities that parks are likely to close. And those who know the parks best will not be around to answer questions for visitors.
I mean, we've hiked before, and so we understand that. But for people who have never been to Acadia or know, it can be dangerous if rangers aren't around and there's nobody there to really respond if something happens.
The Killians are just beginning their 2-week tour of national parks and say they will take each day as it comes.
We can go hike, but we don't know in a couple days if they're going to close it down, and then all of what we planned, we can't do it. We came all this way and now we can't go out and do what we planned.
In Sioux City, Katie Koppel, KTIV News 4.
And the Killians have 3 national parks they plan to visit on their trip. They may be forced to, of course, change their plans if the parks close, but say that it just means they'll have to make a trip back at a later date. Now, here's a closer look at how the shutdown impacts national parks. According to the National Park Service, 2/3 or about 9,300 employees were furloughed. National parks do utilize donations to help with funding costs during a shutdown, but those donations can only last so long. The NPS says limiting staff at the parks can lead to vandalism, overflowing garbage, and damage to natural resources. A shutdown can also discourage people from visiting national parks, which also, by the way, takes revenue away from nearby communities that rely on those tourist dollars. During a 2013 shutdown, the Park Service, under former President Barack Obama, turned away millions of visitors, leading to more than $500 million in lost spending.